Hello friends, hello professionals, and welcome back to my channel, The Sea of Regulation. Simone here, and today I'm going to talk to you about how financial services associations can win in compliance. Now, before I get started, let me get a few things out of the way. I am a financial services regulator, yes, but I am not offering professional or legal advice. And the views on this channel are my own. They're not the views of any regulatory authority or international standard setter. So, with that said, let's dive in. So, financial services associations, there are a lot of them, and they do good work. I am not here to rip on any of them, but I think there are some things that could be improved in some jurisdictions. From what I've seen and from what I've heard from my colleagues, some financial services associations only focus on ripping into their regulators and trying to keep the status quo. Listen, things are changing. The world is changing. So standards have to change. And I'll give you a really good example. The controls that a bank would need to prevent somebody from stealing money is completely different now than it was in, say, 1820 or 1920. I mean, how did you rob a bank in the 1960s? You see the anecdotal person with a handkerchief over their face or a mask, and they go in with a gun and a note to the teller to tell them, empty the drawers, no die packs, and run out of the bank with the money. How do you rob a bank now? You hack it. So, why do you think if the crimes are changing, regulation won't change? You can't keep the status quo. The only constant is change in this world. So, for the financial services associations that just want to be confrontational with their regulators for the sake of keeping that status quo, I would ask you to stop. But from my experience, that is not at all what I have seen. I've seen active and engaged and very turned on association members and presidents. And one particular association that I think does a great job within the region, within the Caribbean region, is the Caribbean Regional Compliance Association, or CRCA. They have done excellent work with their annual conference. Now, they don't even know that I'm going to be saying this, so this will come as a surprise to them. But they do awesome trainings. They have a lot of engagement amongst their members so that they make sure member countries have the support that they need and that compliance professionals can also be trained. And within those individual jurisdictions, I've also seen some really good partnerships with the local compliance association and, say, the bankers association, or there might be an investment business association or bankers association, and there's a lot of collaboration that goes on to address topical issues. And that is one of the ways that you can definitely win with compliance. In some cases, those associations have also incorporated their regulator into the outreach and training that goes on. And I can tell you from the things that I've heard within the region and things that I've seen in some other countries, that's definitely a win. You can't go wrong with making sure that you have more engagement, more training that's made aware to a wider cross section of not just staff, but the general public, so that they understand what's going on in the world of compliance. Now, one of the other things that I've seen associations win at compliance is actually in the consultation process when there's legislative reform. Again, this is not just to put up roadblocks and to give a regulator problems. What I've seen in really good jurisdictions, and again in the region, this works really well. We have seen that associations will engage very constructively, and they will come back with a lot of creative solutions that they think can work. And it's not everything that the regulator will accept. But what happens is that you open the dialogue so that there's an understanding of why we need to move and why we need to go in a particular direction. And I've said this in the past, regulators don't necessarily do the business. So having an active consultation process is actually good for everyone involved. It makes sure that you get regulation that fits the issues, addresses the risks, but also helps business. Now, another area that I think associations win in compliance is their outreach to schools. Yes, to high schools, and even to primary schools in some cases. Where do you think the next set of professionals will come from? they're in school right now. Some may have just graduated. And you shouldn't really wait for students to get out into the world of work or do an internship for them to understand some of the issues that can impact them. Because even if they don't end up in regulation or in a financial services firm, they can be working with a lawyer, they could be working as a doctor, they could be working in a number of different professions, even a farmer, because farming is really important, an environmentalist. But guess what? All of those people use financial services. They either need insurance or a bank account, and they are going to have to interface with the financial services industry. How else to help that future professional than having some outreach while they're at school? And again, this is something that I've seen done in the region to great effect. And it really is of the best benefit when you get into those classrooms with those very curious minds. I think that that is one of the things that I've particularly enjoyed seeing associations take part in. Regulators do it as well, but of course, we may not have the resources and the time as a whole association of varied members across a particular jurisdiction or a group of jurisdictions to do that type of outreach. And I think that that goes a really long way in building the next generation. And I'm all about building the next generation and capacity building. So if you can think of any other way that an association can get together and win in compliance, let me know in the comments below. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell for future videos, and I'm definitely looking forward to your comments. Share with your friends because I'll be back soon with another video.